I did a poll, right? I did a poll, and and when I say poll, I mean POLL, not POLE. Y'all know me; it could be either one, but I do mean a actual taking accounting of POLL, right? And so what I found out was a lot of my entrepreneurs and small business CEOs don't quite know what operations are in their business. They don't quite know what is meant by small business operations, right? Good morning if you're just joining me. So I decided every morning, 7 a.m., every weekday morning, that is, I'm going to do T minus 10 minutes and give you guys 10 minutes on different topics that will be of value to small business CEOs. But today I want to talk about small business operations in general, right? In general, because what that means is, right? What that means is the general doing in your business. The general doing in your business is kind of the operations, okay? So a lot of my small business CEOs, they want to be the visionary, right? They want to be the person that, has the vision for the business and then someone else executes, right? A lot of my CEOs, they want to kind of be the rainmaker, right? They want to be the one that's the face of the business that brings the money in, and then, somebody else does the doing. Well, whatever the doing is in your business is connected to the operations, right? Whatever the actions are in your business, that's that's pretty much going to be the operations of your business, right? Now, if you were in corporate America and your business was a corporation, your business would have different departments. Okay, so your business may have marketing department. It would have an HR department. It would have your operations department, which could look like if you are a product based business, that could look like the assembly and the packing and the ordering of your product, right? If you are a service based business, it is like the processes that take place to service your client, right? That's the operating. But that's only half of it because that operating is for the outside, that's external, it's for the client. What about the internal operations, right? So that would be like your administration, that would be like your hiring and all of those things. And so the amazing thing about us CEOs or small business CEOs and us entrepreneurs is we most of us start off a business doing all of these roles, right? We do all of the roles. Well, we do all of the things, right? I can't really see my comments. So if y'all are talking back to me, good morning, good morning. Let's see if I can see any comments. Well, I see Letitia has joined me. Let's see what else is going on here. I can't really see comments, y'all. I'm sorry. Number one, I'm kind of blind, so I can't see on the camera, and I can't see on my iPad, which I thought. But I'm gonna get better at this as the days go by, right? So basically, as a chief operating officer for small business CEOs, I have found that a lot of my entrepreneurs, a lot of my small business CEOs don't know what operations are. So I'm going to come on here 10 minutes on the weekdays. And the only time I could find that I knew I could do it at a routine time was 7 a.m. Eastern time. And so I'm getting my butt up and I'm getting in here because I need my CEOs to have better processes, to have a well-oiled machine, to have a business that they like working in. And structure is a part of that, right? Structure is a part of that. It's a main part of that. So one question I have for you guys this morning is, and I asked this on my page before, and I've even asked it in a group. So when it comes to operations, it is the doing and the actions in your business. So I would love it if you would put in the comments what your business is and what is some operations in your business. Okay, put that in the comments. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to answer that later and all throughout the day. Again, basically, oh, we got our city sounds going on. I love it. I'm surprised the dog walkers aren't out yet. So I want to just kind of share things with you in the mornings for about 10 minutes about operations, about things that are of value to small business CEOs, right? This week, I will be doing a lot of hiring for two different clients. Um, and the number one question that I get about hiring in small businesses is, who should I hire first? Who should I hire first? Now, people have answers to this question, and I have a problem with their answer to the question because, and I really have a problem with how people treat small businesses, period, because they're always trying to give you cookie cutter answers, right? Cookie cutter answers, and cookie cutter is not, it's not going to work for everybody. Who you hire first in your business depends on your business, right? What does your business need right now? And I like to go to, what does your business need right now to unplug your money, right? What is the one position that will help more money flow into your business? Now, who that is depends on what is your business. It depends on who you are in the business. What are your weaknesses and strengths, right? It depends on the business model. Can you hire somebody that can do the servicing of the client, or is it always you? Have you set your business up to it always being you, right? Um, Sometimes who you need to hire is somebody that's going to do more things in your business, right? You just need somebody to take some of these tasks off your plate. Take some, you just need a doer, right? You just need a doer, somebody to come in and do more things, doer. Sometimes you need someone to come in and say, you know what? I might can't hire you on a full-time basis or on a retainer basis, but for this product, this project, I need your help. So you can hire people on a project basis, right? So you can have a big project that you need help with that project, but you don't necessarily need a whole bunch of help in your business as a whole. You can hire people on a project basis, okay? Um, but what about the people that help you with the administration of your business? What about the people who help you set the structure? Because one thing I have found is that small business entrepreneurs and CEOs, because you're so busy deep down in the business, you never prioritize working on the business, right? You never prioritize setting the structure. You're so busy gun ho going forward, there's nobody laying tracks, right? So that when you get ready to go backwards to do something again, it's easier. And so you need people to do that, right? Today I released a blog post that's called You Need a Thinker on Your Team. You need a thinker on your team. A lot of CEOs, especially in small businesses, how we start out is, again, we're in every role, right? Especially if you're a CEO of color, we don't always have access to the capital, to the to investors and all of these things, because other businesses, they start with the structure that they need, including the people, right? And so some of us who don't have the capital, we have to start with us doing everything and then hiring when it starts to hurt us to do everything, right? When we're doing everything and we're about to go crazy, then we start to hire. Let me tell you about one myth. There's a myth that, whether or not you have scaled is attached to the amount of money you've made in your business. Not true. It's not true. There are some $1 million businesses out here that grew, but they didn't scale. They grew, right? So they got more customers, they sold more things, they made more money, but there's no structure. There's no, or there's not enough structure, I should say. There's not enough repeatable processes where everything is a well-oiled machine. And so what happens is, unfortunately, again, they're in their business making money, but the business is overwhelming. The business is tiring. The business is all of these things. Sometimes your first hire has to be another thinker, okay? Another thinker. So we have to get out of the mindset of trying to hire the cheapest person possible to help us, because it is true you get what you pay for, but also you get what your mindset allows you to get, is the best way I can put it, right? So if you think, oh, let me just hire a VA at $8, $10 an hour, $20 an hour, you're gonna get a doer, right? If you think that you can hire someone else in your business and not be overwhelmed by helping them to help you, unfortunately, you're incorrect, right? So sometimes when we hire people, it kind of feels like I'd rather do it myself because I don't have to answer all these questions. I don't have to make sure that it's being done right, all of these things. But answering questions and making sure things done right could be a temporary thing if you hire someone who is also a thinker, okay? A thinker. Now, If you're going to be bold, hire another leader. Okay? Shared leadership can make such a big difference in your business because now you don't just have a thinker, you have someone else helping you to make decisions. Okay? Someone else to help you make decisions. So again, you can hire a doer. You can hire someone on a project basis. You can hire someone who is a thinker, and then you can hire someone that has shared leadership that helps you to make decisions in your business. And what that does is that does allow you to go out and be the visionary, right? You have someone trusted in your business that can help you to make decisions and help your business run like a well-oiled machine because you don't have to make every decision. You don't have to think about everything and all around everything and solve every problem, right? You can go off and be the rainmaker for your business. You can say, I'm the face of the business. I'm going to go get the business and bring it back. Now you have capable hands to make decisions, be the thinker, make sure that your vision and the plan that you put forth for your vision is being executed. So, again, a blog post today I have released is called You Need a Thinker on Your Team. And I would love it if you guys check that out and let me know what you think. Again, I am Shay Cannon, your favorite fractional chief operating officer, and I'm going to come on here in the morning and share some tea with you for about 10 minutes. Ooh, my tea is good. And I just want to share things about small business operations. Again, this is sparked by a poll that I did a couple of weeks ago where I was asking people what was their biggest obstacle with the operations in their business. And when they started listing things, I realized that a lot of entrepreneurs don't know what the operations is, right? So I started asking, like, what do you think operations is? And I kind of figured out. Now, I knew everybody would know what a fractional chief operating officer for their small business would be. I knew that much. I did not know that people wouldn't understand exactly what operations in their business is. And so I'm going to be coming on here every weekday, giving you the T on operations. So I'm calling this T minus 10 minutes because it's going to be around 10 minutes. If you guys are up, you can join me live. I'm having problems seeing the comments, but I will always circle back around and answer your comments. And so today, um, I posed a question. Now I'm trying to remember what the question was that I posed, right? But I think what I asked you was, what is your business? And tell me something that is operations in your business in the comments. Because I want to see what you guys think operations is in your business. And so today is the first of many, and I will see you again in the morning for T minus 10 minutes with Shay, where we're talking about all things operations, but all things that could be of value to you guys that are CEOs running these small businesses because I just want to see you be successful in your business. I want to know what it is that I can help you with. I know I can't service everybody as a client, but it's so many things that I know that I want you to know that I'm trying to find different ways to get that information out, right? Because one of my visions for my business is that everything that I know that has grown businesses, everything that I know that has taken monkeys off of CEOs' backs, everything that I know that has made business enjoyable and a vehicle of freedom for my small business CEOs, I want to spread that, right? I don't want to leave this earth with all of this in my head. So I'm finding different ways to get it out, different ways to help more people, different ways to give more value. And so this is just one of those ways. Again, check out the blog post. You need a thinker on your team. It's at shaycannon.com. I'll put the link in the. So today is my second day of this broadcast. I am committed to doing this at 7 a.m. Eastern Time, Monday through Friday. Monday through Thursday, Monday through no, Monday through Friday. Uh, and so what's going on is I did a poll, a survey, a couple of weeks ago, and I asked people what was the number one obstacle in their business when it came to their operations. And what I realized was a lot of entrepreneurs and a lot of small business CEOs don't really know what the operations of their business is. They don't quite know, right? And so I was getting all kind of answers that didn't really align with what operations was. And so that's what I realized. I have a lot of knowledge to share. I don't want to narrow that knowledge down to just good morning, good morning. I don't want to knowledge that information down to just my clients. I want to be able to help more people. So this is one of the ways that I am getting all the things that I know out of my head to as many people as possible when it comes to your business clarity, structure, and growth. Okay, and so this is only the second broadcast, but I'm even more comfortable today than I was yesterday. So that's I'm progressing, and so I expect for these broadcasts to get even better and better. Okay, now yesterday I also released a blog post. I am committed to doing those weekly. Right, it's a blog post. The name of that blog post was "You Need a Thinker on Your Team." You need a thinker on your team. Now, a lot of people want to know like who should I hire first, who should I hire next, and my answer is always it depends on your business, it depends on your strengths and weaknesses if you're working in the business, or let's just say the strengths and weaknesses of your current team. Okay, it depends on the resources that you have, it depends on what your business is stuck on, what is keeping your business from growing, right? One of the things I like to measure when it comes to who to hire next, it's not cookie cutter for every business. So it's not going to be one position that I tell you, oh, you must get this position or you must get that position. What I'm going to tell you is hire first for the position that will unstick the money the quickest, right? Hire for the position that will unstick your money the quickest. What is stopping the money from flowing in your business? Okay. Do you need marketing? Maybe you need to hire a marketing coordinator. Um, are you a product based business and you only have so many hours to create your product? Then maybe you need a production assistant. So, whatever unsticks your money the fastest in your business is who I suggest that you hire next, right? Again, that looks different for all of us. But that could be a doer. I'm saying in the blog post that you need a thinker on your team. Well, a thinker. Let's think about that, right? What does that look like exactly? This is the follow-up questions that I got yesterday. They were like, "Yeah, okay. I understand that there are doers. I understand that there are project-based people that I hire, and you're saying I need a thinker. What does that look like?" Well, a thinker looks like someone that starts to solve their own problems before they bring it to you for a solution, right? So they're the team member that come to you and they say, "Hey, I'm experiencing such and such problem. I think we should dot 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 dot." Right? They come to you with the problem and a recommendation for the solution. That's a thinker. Um, a thinker looks like someone who is looking at the job that you gave them, performing the job as you told them, and saying, maybe this way would be better. Um, maybe we need to add this. Maybe we shouldn't use this technology. I've used this technology and it works better. Okay. So that's a thinker, someone that gets in the position and they own it. They're able to think around that position. And this is the second part, help you to make decisions. Okay. They can help you make decisions. Even if you don't have shared leadership in your business, like me, a chief operating officer, if you have someone that can help you to make decisions, that will help you. Because as a CEO, what's going on is even if you, let's say you don't have processes, you don't have processes, so your team has to keep coming to you for every step because those steps don't quite look the same every time they do it. Or let's say that you do have processes. And anytime something external happens outside of those processes or internal happens outside of those processes, what happens is they come back to you and say, "Hey, you told me to do this when this happens, but this happened. What do I do now?" Okay. So those are examples of how a team with processes or without processes, they're helpful in the doing of things, but they still kind of ping on you. They kind of come and they have these questions, they have these needs, right? So a thinker lessens those needs. A thinker pings on you a little less than a doer. but a decision maker pings on you even less than a thinker. Okay? If you have someone who is empowered to make decisions and move things forward without coming back to you, that's what you want. Now, some of y'all are going to have to trust a little more. Some of you are going to have to let go of the reins and stop being such a control freak. I am a confessed control freak. Um, some of you have to quit thinking that you're the only one that can do it or you're the only one that can do it right. Okay, for the city sound. All right. So you, number one, have to let go, and number two, have to empower. So let me tell you what empowering does not look like. Okay. Let me tell you what it does not look like. Okay. Empowering does not look like, oh, that's nice, but let's do it this way. Come on. Good morning, everybody. Or, I wouldn't have done it that way. I would have done this way. And you're making changes that don't necessarily need to be made for that person to be successful. You just want it done your way. Okay. So imagine if you kept going to someone trying to make decisions and they kept altering your decisions. Would you continue to make a decision? Would you feel empowered to make a decision? No. So let me tell you something about decision makers in your business. You have to allow them to have part ownership of your dream. I'm gonna let you sit with that one right quick. To have a decision maker in your business that helps your business grow, that helps everything not come to you, to have shared leadership and a decision maker in your business, you have to let them own part of your dream because no one really makes decisions about things they don't own. No one really feels empowered to go to the next step without you, okay? Without you, the CEO, if they don't feel some type of ownership in it. So some of y'all need to let go. You need to relinquish, okay? Because just because you tell them it's okay to make decisions, if when every time they made one, okay, their decision doesn't get to stick because you can do it better, you're shooting yourself in the foot. You don't have a decision maker. You have a suggester. You have a recommender, but you're not following the suggestions. You're not following the recommendations. Okay? They can't make a decision without you hovering over them to make sure it's the same decision you would make. I don't need them to make the same decision you would make. Okay? That's not the correct barometer. It's not the correct measuring stick. The correct measuring stick is, did their decision get you the desired result that you wanted? Uh, oh, I'm leaving. Hold on. I'm a sip on that one. I'm a sip on that one. To have decision makers in your business that brings about shared leadership, that brings about them taking the load off of you, means you have to let go of the load. It means they have to be empowered to own a portion of your dream. It means they need to be able to make decisions independently of you, okay? Independently of you, that gets the result that you said you wanted. It doesn't have to go down the same street that you would have gone down to get to it. That's the difference. Okay. So thinkers, we want thinkers in our business. Okay. The blog post, if you want to go, I'm going to put the link in the comments. But the blog post, good morning, everybody. If you want to check it out, it's at shaycannon.com/thinker. That is the blog post. The name of it is, you need a thinker on your team. And what we're talking about today is what that looks like. We talked about doers, we talked about thinkers, and I'm telling you that even thinkers aren't enough. Okay. I'm telling you, you need decision makers. Okay. So that's higher than a thinker because a thinker could think you should do it this way, but they won't make the decision to do it that way without you. So you need thinkers and you need decision makers. Next week, I'm going to break down the difference in the roles and operations. So tomorrow, I'm going to ask you a little more about that. But for today, I want you to know that having a thinker is only the first step. Your goal is to have other decision makers. That's how corporate structure is made, right? The whole C suite and corporate structure are decision makers in niche departments. So that the CEO is not making decisions on the departments, he's making decisions on the vision. Okay. So if you want to be the visionary, You have to allow other people to make decisions about the doing. They should be able to take your vision, make sure it's clear, and then be able to make decisions on your vision. Again, you have to let go. Okay? You have to allow for the decisions. You need to come up out the minutia, come up out the weeds, and let them make decisions. Because what you're looking for is a certain result. You're looking for certain goals to be met. You should not be looking for them to necessarily be done step by step the way that you would, not from your decision maker, maybe from your doers. Like that's what processes are for. But for your decision makers and your leaders and your thinkers to make decisions about your process is what makes the process better. It's what makes your process adaptable in the moment and still get things done and still get you to the result. So I can't wait to hear in the comments what you guys have to say about today's T minus 10 minutes. We're at about 14 minutes. Maybe I should change this to T minus 15 minutes because I've been running about 15 minutes. This is the second day. But today we talked about a little about doers, a little more about thinkers, and a lot more about decision makers. You have to allow and create an atmosphere for a decision maker. You have to create the right circumstances for people to feel empowered for you to have a decision making. But I promise you, you won't regret having other decision makers on your team to help your business move forward with your goals, getting the results that you want. Okay. So think result oriented. Don't think step by step oriented. Stop helicopter parenting your business. Okay. So that is our discussion for today.
Yesterday I said every weekday, which included Friday, but I forgot my own life design yesterday. So let me take that back and not disappoint. So every Monday through Thursday, I will be on here at 7 a.m. sharing with you some operation genius, might I say. No, some operation tips, some just some business banter is what I've said it's gonna be. So we this week have been talking about teams, really, empowering your team, having decision makers on your team, having thinkers on your team. So it all started with a blog post, right? And if I can keep that up, that'll make this content real easy, right? So I can release a blog post about something and we go deeper and deeper into it every day of the week. That would be easier on me, but I'm willing to flow with it. And so far, you guys have helped me have content because let's talk about it, right? Good morning. Good morning. So the blog post was called You Need a Thinker on Your Team. All right. You need a thinker on your team. And Monday, we pretty much talked about doers versus thinkers in your business. Doers versus thinkers in your business. Okay. We talked about that Monday. We talked about doers being like task rabbits, just only doing the task. They only do what you tell them to do it, how you tell them to do it, when you tell them to do it. Anything outside of that, they have to come back to you, right? And the thinker is somebody who, if something deviates from what you told them to do, they use their brain to make it better, right? They use their brain to solve problems. They don't come to you for anything, just anything happening outside of that, right? Thinker on your team. That's right. That's exactly right. And let's see if I can see most of the comments. I think this thing is okay. There we go. So we talked about that on Tuesday, right? So on Tuesday, we talked about the thinkers are great, but there's something even better than thinkers. Oh, I touched that and it came on the screen. Okay, there we go. I am beautiful though. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for recognizing. I think that's worth a sip of tea. All right. So Monday, it was the thinkers versus the doers. Tuesday, we talked about how thinkers are good, but decision makers are better, right? Decision makers are better. And the difference between a thinker and a decision maker could be that a thinker has thought about the solution to the problem, but they haven't made the decision on their own to use that solution. Okay, just to give you an idea, right? So Tuesday, we talked about thinkers versus decision makers. Yesterday, let me tell y'all something. I'm getting better and better at this every morning. Okay, I'm about to start breaking my arm, patting myself on the back because I re-listened to yesterday. I watched the replay and I was giving y'all some zingers yesterday about decision makers. So I need y'all to go back and watch yesterday if you didn't watch it. But what I noticed was I talked about decision makers in how you guys are not empowering them, right? So today, good morning, good morning. Today we're going to talk about how to empower your decision makers. So y'all are giving me good content. I didn't think we were going to be able to stretch this blog post this far, right? But today we're going to talk about how do you empower your decision makers, okay? And so the first thing I'm going to say is the empowerment starts with you when you're creating the structure of your company. The empowerment starts with you when you pick your vision and your mission for your business. Some of y'all don't even have a vision and a mission, do you? Let me drink. Hold on. Yeah. That's why that kind of business clarity is important. It's hard to follow you when you're not clear on your own business. Okay. It's hard to do tasks when you're not clear on your own business. It's hard to be a thinker when you haven't thought about your business a lot. And it's hard to be a decision maker in a business that's not clear. So it starts with you. What is your mission and your vision? Because if you have a mission and your vision, you should be hiring for your mission and your vision. You should be hiring based on your mission and your vision. You should be hiring aligned people, okay? Like minds. If you start there, okay, if you start there with hiring people that have your same mission and your same vision, how much easier would it be for them to make decisions in line with you? So it starts with you, okay? It starts with your business clarity, your vision, and your mission, okay? We all know, especially in operations, you know, we do this to death. We talk about processes. We talk about standard operating procedures. You need those, okay? But that's baseline. But you definitely need those. Now, some of you have these processes. Um, how do I say this? Um, some of y'all have processes that's so convoluted, so complex, okay, that it darn near looks like an architecture plan for a house. It's so much on that process, okay? It's so deep in detail because you know you might be a little control freak like me, and you just want to make sure people get it right down to the minutia of the detail. But your processes shouldn't be so that the steps are important. The process should be more. We talked about this yesterday. That the objective is important. Okay, so some of y'all got too many steps in your process. But even so, something that will help empower your team is to have some quick reference guides on the processes that are more complex, right? Break it down, make it simpler. What you know is the more, think about your child, think about your child. Dealing with children, the more steps you put in something you want them to do, the more apt they are to jack it up. Jack it up. You understand me? So if you can have fewer steps, if you can have some type of reminder of the overview of the steps to go with your complexity, you're empowering thinking and decision making. Okay, you're empowering thinking and decision making when you make your processes less complex. When you take some steps out, or if you can't make them less complex, have some sort of overview available to your team. Okay, to your team. I call them quick reference guides. I even like visuals. Every time I start with the process, I'm doing some type of little basic process map. This arrow, this arrow, this arrow, this, right? Some people are very visual. And so if you had a process where it has a little process map at the top and then you describe the steps at the bottom, they're more apt to remember that picture of the process to help them have recalling, you know, what it is. So number one, stop being so complex with your steps to your processes. Number two, have a way that they can have an overview that they can quickly review. I call them quick reference guides. I'm adding in there, add a visual component. I think all of that helps you have more decision makers and thinkers in your business, right? They can be quick on their feet. They don't have to feel like they have to go and open up this. I wish I had a real thick book to lay on the bed. I mean, to lay on the table, because some of y'all's one process looks like an encyclopedia chapter. Okay, so we'll talk about processes at a later date. Um, Another thing I'm going to say is, if something happens outside of your structure, outside of your process, okay, first of all, you shouldn't be angry, but don't be disappointed in either. If you're going to be disappointed, don't be disappointed in the person. Be disappointed in your structure first. Oh, that might be tea time. That might, I feel like that was a zinger. I feel like that was a zinger. Look, quote me on that. Quote me on that, right? When things go wrong, don't look at the person first. Look at your structure first. Look at your processes first. Okay? Because that's where the answer lies. Oh, look at that. The city is citying. I just realized I don't have my wireless earplugs on, so I don't even know if y'all can hear me. I hope you can hear me. I'm loud as heck. But another thing I want to tell you, and this is definitely a zinger. Quote me on it. Quote me on it. When you have a problem trusting your team, make sure that you create processes for them to follow that you trust. Uh, when you have problems trusting your team, make sure you have created processes that you can trust. Okay? So make simple, clear processes. Okay? Make processes that you can trust. And if something goes wrong, before you look at and be disappointed in and make responsible and be mad at the person working the process, look at your process. Look at your process. Okay? I think that was a big one. I think that was a big one. To help to create decision makers on your team, develop your team. Do things like role playing so that you can role play situations, see what they would naturally come up with on their own, and then show them what you would do. Role play. You know what position does this a lot and it helps their team get better? Sales. Sales. Your sales team, as a part of their training, they role play a lot. They role play a lot on the sales team. And that's how they get better and better. Okay. In fact, some sales teams meet every morning and role playing is a part of their morning meeting. So how much better would it be if they were role playing different situations more often? So role playing more often to develop your team into the type of decision makers that you want and the type of decision makers that you need. Okay. Another thing, and this may be introducing something new to you, it may be, okay? But you can start to create things like a decision tree. Have you ever heard of that? A decision tree, okay? And basically, all a decision tree is kind of like putting your brain on paper on how you would make a decision if a certain thing happened, okay? And this is what I want you to think about. I want you to think about your telephone service provider, your cell provider. I'm with T-Mobile. I've been with T-Mobile since they were PowerTel. Shout out to T-Mobile. But one thing about these customer service departments is they kind of have decision trees. And this is what they look like. It looks like your regular customer service person can make a decision to refund you up to this amount or credit your account up to this amount, right? They are empowered to do certain things for you up to a certain level. And when they reach that level, that's when it's time for them to get a supervisor, right? And that supervisor is then empowered to give you a little more. So that is kind of a decision tree, right? If this, then that, okay? If this, then that. And so it looks like a tree because it's basically like, did this happen? And then you say yes or no. If the answer is no, then this. If the answer is yes, then this. And you just keep going until you have the problem solved at the bottom of the decision tree. Does that make sense? Okay. So that might be an introduction to people, but I think that's important. It's a great way to get your thoughts on how you make a decision onto paper so that as they're going through the steps, they have something to reference. And eventually, like all things, they won't need the paper anymore. They'll just be a natural decision maker for that thing. Okay. So I think that was a good one. Another one would be having an open door policy, right? We remember that in corporate America. Having an open door policy, creating an atmosphere of being able to come to you, communicate with you, to kind of self correct, get more information so that, they have had a circumstance where they don't know if they made the right decision. They get to talk to you about that. Okay. So having that open door so that they can communicate to you some of the things that they're dealing with, because what that would do is that would help you to put processes in place and decision trees in place and quick reference guides in place for areas you may not have thought there was a need for. So if you have an open door policy of communication, you're always getting fresh information about how processes are working or not working, how decisions are being made or not made. And so that's a great thing. Okay. And finally, what I'm going to say is an open door policy is great, right? But actual mentorship is better. Mentorship. Okay. So the open door policy was them coming to you. Mentorship is you going to them and helping to correct certain things. Okay. You going to them and helping to develop them. Okay. It's kind of like I had a thought. Did it leave? Did it leave me? It's the 50 years of age showing now. Let me think. Mentorship is kind of like parenting. Okay. So having an open door policy is like you being home with your child, but you're just watching TV and they're there doing something else and they may interact with you as they're doing something else. But you're not really paying them any attention. So that ain't quality time just because you're there. Okay. So that's an open door policy. Actual mentorship is the quality time that you spend with the child while y'all are in the same house, right? You are actually interacting with them. You might even not just lead the interaction, but you may have some structure to the interaction to make sure that they're developing. That would be the difference between the open door policy and actual mentorship. Okay. So one is you just being present in the house, talking about I be there with my kids, and so they can come and bother you. The other one is you interacting with your kids as a planned thing on a regular basis. Okay, so that's the mentorship. So I hope I've given you guys some great things to think about how to create thinkers and decision makers on your team because you need them both. Okay, you need them both. As a CEO, some of the reason why some of you are overwhelmed is because you are doing all the thinking, you are doing all the decision making.
Welcome to T minus 10 minutes with Shay, your favorite fractional chief operating officer. Um, we are here because I want to give you 10 minutes of value that can help you with your business operations, your business, managing your business. Um, this started on Monday, and today is our last day of this week, and I am so happy that we've made it all 4 days, right? Some days it was a struggle. It's early, y'all. But I just wanted to be able to find ways to give value more often in more ways. So I've committed to putting out content in different ways and on different frequencies. And this particular way I'm enjoying. If you watched Monday's video, you see I was getting acclimated, but as the week has gone on, I've gotten more comfortable. I feel like I've given even more value, right? Because when you're comfortable, you're not worried about other things. You're only worried about your value that you're giving. And so I feel like that's starting to really come across in our time together in the mornings. And so I invite you guys to join me in the mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern Time and bring your tea because I'm actually drinking tea. This is actually the time of morning that it's a part of my morning ritual to drink tea in the mornings. And so it was easy to attach me giving value to you with something I was already doing, right? Um, Monday we started off because one of the pieces of content that I'm doing to give value to more people is I'm doing a weekly blog post, right? So these are daily Monday through Thursday in the morning, but every week I'm releasing a blog post. This week's blog post was about you need to hire a thinker on your team, okay? And so if you missed Monday, we talked about the difference between a thinker and a doer. If you missed Tuesday, we talked about the difference between a thinker and a decision maker. And we also in that day talked about the things you're doing to disempower your decision makers and your thinkers. Yesterday, We talked about things to do to empower your thinkers and your decision makers, right? We want them empowered. Um, Someone can have an ability, but if they're not empowered to use that ability, doesn't matter, right? They may as well not have the ability. You want people to use their abilities, their gifts, their genius on behalf of your company when they are on your team, okay? And so you want to empower them. You want to create circumstances and atmospheres, safe spaces for them to use those geniuses, those gifts on your behalf, right? That's why you have a team. So yesterday we talked about ways to empower them. That was really good too. So if you don't catch anything else, Monday I was a little uncomfortable, but I still gave value. But Tuesday I was comfortable, and baby, that's when it started rolling, right? And then yesterday, more zingers. They were zingers, baby. So go back and check those out. Today, what I want to talk about is almost like the anatomy of a good decision. The anatomy of a good decision, right? Because if you can empower your team with ways to make good decisions, and we talked about a bunch of ways yesterday, okay? The more they make decisions, the more the better they're going to be at making decisions on your behalf, okay? But if you can give them some type of formula, some type of something. So we have we have our city sounds going on, you guys, because here in Buenos Aires, Argentina, I'm on my balcony, giving you this business banter. So just ignore the city sounds. The city is waking up just like we are. But I want to discuss the anatomy of a good decision. Okay, the anatomy of a good decision. And so I really thought about it. I really kind of like broke it down because I'm one of those people who I'm not afraid to make decisions, which is why I'm great in my role. I mitigate risk. I do all of the things, and then I make a decision, and then I just brace for the decision. So I broke down exactly how I make decisions. Okay. So the first thing that I do is I take a deep breath. Okay. You take a deep breath because you don't want to make a decision out of emotion and you don't want to make a decision too quickly. Okay. So the first thing you're going to do is take a deep breath. That's easy. That's the easy part, right? Okay. The second thing you're going to do is evaluate all of the information you already have. What is all the information I already have to make this decision? Okay. The third thing you're going to do is decide what information are you missing? Okay. What information do you already have? What information are you missing? We are talking about the anatomy of making a good decision. Okay. So the first one, take a deep breath. The second one, evaluate all the information that you have. Third, figure out what information you don't have. Okay. Fourth, of course, is going to be try to go get the information you don't have. Okay. Because you want to consider all information possible before you make a decision. Okay. So, what information do you have? What information don't you have? Go and try to get the information that you do not have. Okay. The next thing that you're going to do is with all of that information, what is the desired outcome of your decision? Okay. This is important. Some people don't understand there are different things at play when you're making a decision, right? That could be the obvious and quick way you would react, but don't forget what is your desired outcome? Because your desired outcome should dictate how you react, what decisions you make. So that's an important step. With all the information, what is your desired outcome? Okay. And the next thing is going to be what are the consequences, okay, of your actions and reactions? No, actually, that's wrong. Your actions and your inaction, okay? What are going to be the consequences of you making a decision in certain ways or not making a decision at all? Because not making a decision is still a decision, okay? So you have to consider what are the consequences of you making a decision in the different ways or not making a decision at all, okay? You need to consider all of that. When you put all of that together, go and get some qualified input. Go and get some Notice I didn't just say go ask somebody. I said go and get qualified input. Okay? Someone who's qualified to give you an answer that could work for the outcome that you want. Okay? So if they're not qualified, we're not asking them. Talking to them is just venting. Qualified people can help you make a decision. Okay? So the next thing you want to do is plan for after your decision. Okay? So you have these decision options that you came up with yourself. You went and got some qualified input. So you may have different decision options. Go ahead and plan in your head what are the consequences. No, you're going to go ahead and plan in your head what are you going to do after the decisions, okay? Because we have a goal in mind. We have a desired end result. So after that decision is made, what are you going to do after the decision? Doing that, kind of envisioning you making a decision and thinking about what happens after is additional information that could change your decision, okay? Because this is what we're doing. We're trying to get the most qualified decision for the action that we want. Okay, so envision what happens after the decision. Now make a final decision based on all of that information. Okay, make a final decision based on all of that information. What we're talking about is giving our decision makers a formula for making decisions, right? So I broke down how me as a chief operating officer, who I make decisions for CEOs all day, every day. That's what I do. I do crisis management. I do change management. I'm making decisions on teams. I'm doing decisions. It's nothing for me to make a decision, right? So from the sheer volume of decisions I make, I just came up with a formula for you. Okay, let's recap the formula. I want you to take a deep breath, okay? Because I need you to settle down, get even keeled. Take a deep breath. We can't make decisions too quickly, and we can't make decisions out of emotion, okay? So take a deep breath, bring it down a notch. The next thing you're going to do is evaluate all the information that you have to make a decision. The next thing that you're going to do is figure out what information don't you have, okay? The next thing you're going to do is go get that information that you don't have. Get as much of it as possible, okay? The next thing that you're going to do is figure out what is your desired income outcome. Now that you have all information you could possibly have, what is your desired outcome? You want your decision to end up as what? What's going to happen because of your decision? Decide that. It's important. Okay? Think about the consequences of you making various decisions and the consequences of you not making a decision. What are the consequences of your actions and your inaction? Okay? Next is going to be go and get qualified input. Okay? Ask someone qualified to answer you. Don't just ask anybody. That's key too. Stop asking people who don't know, they don't matter to the situation. None of that. Okay? Ask qualified people. Get qualified input. Then you're going to plan for each decision. Once you narrow the decisions down and you have these options, narrow it down and decide a plan for after each of those decisions. That may help you narrow it down even more. Then what you're going to do is go ahead and make a final decision and stand by your decision. Be open to new information, but stand by your decision. You can't be afraid to make mistakes because if you follow these steps, you've done your due diligence. You're human. Every decision is not going to be the right decision. The goal is to mitigate damages based on decision, and the goal is to make as many great decisions as possible. But you're human, okay? So never forget that. I want to add one more thing that I have a formula for, and that is because I am such a problem solver, right? It's almost like another layer of decision making because when problems come to you or crises come to you, you have less time to do some of these things. So I want to give you a quick four-step formula for that. Number one, diagnose the problem. Okay, what exactly is the problem, right? What exactly is the problem? And in that diagnose, you're diagnosing all information that you have. Okay. Number two, you're going to develop the end goal. Okay. What do you want to happen when what is when you're solving the problem? What makes it solve? What's the end goal? Okay. Number three, you want to design a plan around the end goal. Design the plan around the end goal. And number four, you want to dominate and go get that end goal. Okay. So when you're solving a problem, when there's a crisis, you want to diagnose the problem with all the information. Okay. You want to develop the end goal because the next thing you're going to do is design the plan around the end goal. And the last thing you're going to do is go dominate to go get that end goal. That's how I solve problems. Okay. So I hope this has been helpful for you because we have really had a really great week around thinking and doing and decision making. And so I just wanted to round it out, giving you some key formulas, because that's what I do, right? I make systems and checklists and all this kind of stuff, um, you know, to make sure that it's a repeatable process that you can get the desired outcome, as many times as possible over and over again. So that's what I do. I naturally do that. That's what makes me, great at what I do. So I wanted to give you some formulas, a system for decision making and for problem solving. So that's what I've done today. If you join me late, I would love it, love it, love it if you go back because again, great value today. I told you the more comfortable I get with this thing, the more you're just gonna get all the zingers, all the good information. Good morning, good morning. So if you're just joining me, please go back to the replay because I gave you the anatomy of a good decision based on how I make decisions, and I gave you a plan for solving problems. Okay, so I gave you these formulas. You can apply this. You can give this to your kids. You can give this to your team members. You can start using it and all you can do is mitigate your damages, mitigate risk, mitigate, having a bigger problem. Nothing is guaranteed, but these steps are a great first step. And I see that we're we're at the 8:15 hour. I am doing good. We're hitting this 15 minutes. I'm not changing the title though, because one day I'm probably only gonna have 10 minutes in me. Um, but I would love any of your questions in the comments about decision making and problem solving. Okay, because I gave you these formulas. If you have any question about the steps that I gave you, put them in the comments. If you have any suggestions around the formulas that I gave you, put them in the comments. And I do have a question for you because I am working on the blog post for next week. It will publish on Sunday, and then we'll talk about it Monday. The next blog post is about the different operations roles, right? There are different roles. There's a hierarchy to operations roles. And so we're going to talk about what those roles are, which one you may need in your business at what time. What I want to know from you is what else do you want to know about the different operations roles as it has to do with your small business? Put your questions about that in the comment. And what I'm going to do is make sure that when I'm writing the blog post, I answer those questions. So it's your chance to get the exact input that you want from me. Because I'm not going to write it until I think about Sunday. So put in the comments any questions you have or anything you want to know about the different operations roles and how they can play a part in your business. All right. I hope you've had a great week. I've had a great week giving you value. Getting up has been a struggle some mornings, but with you and my team, I made it. So I hope you have a great day. I hope that you have gotten great information. Let me know if the information from this week has been helpful to you. Um, Feel free to leave a nugget or two that you feel like is going to help you the most because I'm here to give value. If you think of something else that you would like for me to talk about, period, about small business management and small business operations, just let me know. Just let me know. Somebody said, thank you so much. You are so welcome. Y'all can't see the names when I'm on the StreamYard, but I see your comments now. See, I figured that part out, right? But what what I'll do? I'm gonna go in the comments today, and I'm gonna answer each one of you, and I'm gonna thank you for joining me because you don't have to be here. It's early. Let me tell you, it's early. So thank you, and you have all day to go back and watch the replay. So I do want you to watch the replay because it's some good information in there. Because I really I make decisions so quickly now based on the sheer volume of decisions that I make that I never stop to think about. Hey, Cheryl, thank you for writing your name, Cheryl. That I never stop to think about what are the steps I actually take. So I actually sat there and thought about those steps and I shared those steps with you. What steps do I take to make a decision and what steps do I take to solve a problem? So I hope those help you too. Give me more feedback so I can know what more to give you. All right. You guys have a great day and have a great business. How about that? Are we going to end it with that every time? I don't know. I might come up with something new every time. Have a great day and have a great business. That might stick. I don't know. Tell me what you think about that close too. All right.